Alrighty. Testing. Yeah, that seems to be working. So, today we're going to be trying to recreate this big old interface. It's my existing React Native Fiddle app, which is forked from Electron Fiddle. This is, of course, an Electron app, and we're just going to try porting it to what I'm calling Expo macOS. It's an Expo app running React Native macOS. People may get excited when they hear Expo macOS. It's not feature equivalent with Expo iOS and Expo Android. It's enough so that you can get React Native macOS to be bundled by the Expo CLI and its metro config, and to use a limited subset of the available Expo SDK modules, and to use Expo autolinking. But things such as config plugins and prebuild are not anything you get for free. I've done some experiments in those areas, but on this occasion, we're really just using the bare minimum. But anyway, I'll show you what we've got so far. So I've not actually built this in a while. So let's do a bun start, which gets the bundle running. And we'll do a bun macOS, which runs the React Native run macOS command. And so this will actually do a build. I've forgotten to do a pod install, but I did one earlier, and I don't think I've added any new native modules since then, so we should be good to go. Just wait for that to come up, and we will get our bearings on what further needs to be done. Now, let's take a little more screen space here. In fact, we really don't need that much screen space for this one. Okay. So while that's building, I will show off our web app. Oh no, let's do that in just a moment, actually, because we're nearly ready to go. Strangely enough, it didn't bring it to the foreground. That's strange. Anyway, so here's the app, and you'll see it's got an error loading the page. And that is to be expected because I'm not running the web server. Now we have a web server. It's a VTAP, and we're going to do bun. I think I called it start. Okay, it's dev, is it? And that's running on the Vite port. And so if I now actually tell this app to fully reload, I wonder why that didn't work. Okay, fine. We'll do it by pressing R over here. Now we are finding it's complaining about something. This is an error I haven't seen, but at the very least, what we see is the web view is connecting to our VTAP, which indeed is having problems. So we're going to look into those problems and sort it out. A pre-transform error. Wonder what that's all about. So quite often with these React stack errors, you can just look them up as is, and you'll get a pretty good search result for them. Okay. So this involves the Babel plugin. Oh, right, I see what's going on. Yep. I just pasted this into the wrong bit. That should work. There we go. Okay, so the VTAP's standalone VTAP is happy, and you'll see our Expo macOS app that's running a web view that connects to this is also happy. So isn't that great? Expo macOS app. Does it support dark mode? We shall find out. Dark mode? Yes, great. Isn't that good? Okay, so that's a good start. Now, this looks like we're pretty far along, but actually this is really just the Vite React starter, which is very pretty, but it's a far cry from this. So let's do a few things here. Let's first up commit that. Actually, I'm going to amend that commit. And then do a force push. Okie dokie. Dum ba bum. Next up, what can we be doing? So there's, I guess the very first step is lettuce. Oh no, we don't want to do our pre-builds. We need to add a new project. I've got some private projects here, so let's just hide them for a moment. And I'm back. I've added R&D Fiddle, and I'm going to start a new thread. Here we are. So I'm using codecs for this part because it is really just donkey work. So what we're going to do, we are going to port the app in to use Tailwind. I'll see how that goes. So we'll just audit how it's doing it. So we know the React Vite starter template gave me index.css, main.tsx, and that sort of thing. So I'm hoping it can turn that all into idiomatic Tailwind CSS. Did I not set it up with a Tailwind config? Maybe I can be doing that to meet it halfway. So the HTML file is not referencing a CSS style sheet. It's taking a while. Now we could be doing that work tree thing, but okay. I haven't played with work trees before. Maybe once it's done with that, we will give them a try. Or we can be thinking about some other stuff we can be getting up to. So I do actually want it analyze put porting over grab that for a moment. Okay, so it's made a few changes. I wonder what it's done. Theme stuff, okay. So we're importing Tailwind CSS, and we've got some. We previously had some root styles like that width, which have been blown away. Width is gone. Oh boy, that is quite a letdown. Why did it? Why did it throw that away? Well, whatever, we won't be using them for long. Let's go into Tailwind and see what the normal setup would be. We'll grab that. Go to index.css. We shall link it in. Source / index.css. Okay. Just reference that now, and then app.tsx no longer needs to import any CSS. What on earth? Okay, that's where the width has gone. Yeah, can we fix that? I'm surprised it's not. Oh, that's ESLint? I don't want ESLint though. I want subliminal lint though. I guess I want oxlint. Okay, this is a little more than I'd bargained for. I do actually want to set up oxlint, so figure out how to do that. It's really just for Tailwind class sorting I want, so that's part of Vox format. Okay, nice. Let's just do that. For now, I don't have any functions. But I do like Tailwind merge. Path to style sheet would be /web / source / index.css. Okay. So there should be some kind of linter for Tailwind. I don't know if that comes with oxlint. Maybe not. So that comes from Tailwind IntelliSense. Okay. So to actually apply that linting, I would need to. What would happen if I enabled oxlint, went back here, saved, give it a quick reload window. See whether oxlint can do the job. Oh! ESLint is not running. Yeah, I know that. I'm really trying to get set up with oxlint. Well, that's fine. Let's provide an oxlint. Bun add. Need yet another terminal. I know we could use that one. Fun. Excellent. Oh wait, no, not to the web. Button remove. Excellent, and then we do up. We'll do a button add. -d. Excellent. And we see if this does any better. So the question is, who is actually doing that? Default linter? Hold on. We take a break from our regularly scheduled programming to see Shuan's Chica dance implemented on links. That's super good. All right. Oh, no way. So was this intended to be like 2-column text? I wonder if that's strictly been traced with the right exclusion path. Twitter is not cooperating. Hang on. I wonder what's going on out there, but Chica was pretty good down here. Let's give that a magnificent. Links it saved. Clap. Okie dokie. Right, so what we're trying to do is get Oxlint autofix tailwind lint issues. There's no actual mention of ESLint. Okay, yes. Yes, okay, that sounds productive. Let's have some of that. We'll do a bonnet. It feels a bit weird to put this in the bottom of the repo. I'm just wondering whether we should have workspace level lint configs, but I've walked that path before and it's got some trade-offs. So we now have this. Oh, of course, we didn't have an oxlint. That won't have helped. Come on. .oxlint rc.json. Save that up. Is that gonna autocomplete? Guess not. But the point is now we have an oxlint RC, which will probably help. So I'm just going to leave that blank for now and see what happens when we've got oxlint enabled and we switch back to here and we do a reload window. And we switch over to output and have a look at oxlint. Give it a bit of time to load. Those come up, and then we will. I'm going to do my autofix button, but that triggers ESLint. VS Code autofix run instead of ESLint. Oh boy, the heck is that? Oh, that's no, I don't want that on save. But maybe the best thing I can do is run autofix on save. Okay. Not going to do it. Try reloading that window. Is this not a thing? Okay. Right, fine. We shall ask a higher authority. Begin migrating to Tailwind. That was supposed to stay on top. Why isn't that always on top? Come on. That's not very always on top. What the heck? Is that like a pin? It's very strange. I'm going to keep losing the YouTube chat. Oh well. Not that there's anything to see in there just yet. Suggested by the okay, so we've got Oxy, I've enabled Oxlint. I have some user settings which I want to just have a quick look at. Whoa, it's in a new window. What? I've never seen this before. Now I have a hotkey that runs the autosave actions, the autofix actions, and maybe that will help me get closer to the truth. So let us see. Where is that hiding? That'll be settings, keyboard shortcuts. Okay, autofix. Copy. Anyone? Okay. Right. Let us use Codex as a search engine. See how it goes. So just to explain what we're up to here, we are going to be trying to reproduce this Expo app. Oh, we've got a chat. Hang on. Hello, Anne. Hello, Anne. We've got this Expo macOS app, which is embedding a web view, and that web view is loading up a Vite React app. And we are going to try porting it to, well, it's a long way to go, but inside this web view, we're actually going to try embedding a Monaco editor and just completely copy this existing UI of React Native Fiddle. So we're trying to port, what's it called? Assad, hello, my friend. How is it going? So yeah, I was just saying we're trying to port React Native Fiddle from Electron to React Native macOS. It's going to be a long ride, but I kind of felt I'll see how big the iceberg is before I get into it. Unfortunately, I've not found a way to get this chat to stay on top. So, but I've got this synthesized chat we can try using. That points to like a, I need to redo the link to it. So one moment. We got like a link. Hey, Birak 101, nice to meet you. Yeah, let me find a way to get chat to stay on top. We'll do a bit of this. So we need that link there, I think, and then I edit. I double click this. We change that to that. Is this gonna work? There's a monkey there. That's not much better. We are following along. Please bear with me. I am not a streamer. It's gonna work. Right. we need to get the link to this chat here. Pop-out chat, okay. We take the link to this copy website address. Don't make it easy. Right, we grab that. Double click that in OBS. Replace that. Okay. And we have chat. Excellent. Great. We're good to go. That was desperately hard. We could have just put this on top. Pin tab. Right, anyway, learning how to stream. Close that up. Right, yeah, so the thing I was in the middle of was trying to integrate Tailwind. And specifically, what I wanted is, so when I press my hotkey for running the auto fixes, which is all these replace blah, 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 I want it to do that using Oxlint, because it's going to be a very modern project, full of joy. I had that working with ESLint, but I don't seem to get that for free with Oxlint, so I'm despairing. I'm just seeing if Codex can figure that out. No. It didn't read the brief, and also that doesn't work anyway, so we have been failed. That's what I've already got, as you see. So, I mean, maybe for the sake of the stream, look at that. Like, I run my autofix and it just runs ESLint instead. But if we go back to my autofix actions, all right, how do I currently, it's doing auto fixes through ESLint. How can I reconfigure my to run Oxlint instead of ESLint? Source fix all. Could I just actually hook that up to my key bindings, wherever they're hiding? Come on, come on. Which tab is it? None of these. Settings, keyboard shortcuts. Can I make it so fix all? Aha! I need something just like that. So can I duplicate that? Or change that? I need something just for this workspace. Oh, that's exactly what I want. Yes, I think we're back in the zone. Right. Control or nope. Stop it. What? So it's gonna be that. I want to like disable this. Change when expression. Can I have a when expression in my key bindings? Predicate on the presence of a certain file, i.e. ESLint config file versus Oxlint config file. That oh yes, no, that sounds way better than what I was talking about. Yes, let's have a bit of that. So when the autofix provider is change key binding. No, I want the when. Give me when. Change when expression. Okay. When is OXC? I mean, I've never heard of this stuff before, so change when expression. Yes, Lynn. No, stop it. So user unfriendly. Right, change when expression to ESLint. What? This is so bad. When? Change when expression to that. Why did that work? Who knows? Okay. I'm missing chat on my screen. I'm just gonna make it visible to me. Good morning, Y4T. Okay. We moved RNXKit to use Oxlint if you want to look at the VS Code settings. All right, let's see what RNXKit is using. Well, actually, quite honestly, I feel like I'm very close. So let's just see if I am actually very close. Right, and then in my hold on. Sorry guys, it's taking a while. Change when expression. So that can now be my user default, that we do autofixes through ESLint by default, as usual, when I press this key binding, whereas with Oxy, if I've set my project to specify autofix provider, we'll use it like that for Oxy. Okay, so now we go into my user settings, and then we set my project autofix provider Oxy. Let's see if my project is a thing. Okay, a leap of faith here, and it will just key on that in theory. And then for luck, let's just reload that window and we'll see if this actually works. I'm very skeptical. Once the native things come up, I'm going to hit my hotkey, and then nothing happened. Of course, nothing more we can do here. Does VS Code have a output we can look at? I think we may have to check out RNXKit setup at this rate. Okay. Tools. So I'm trying to get chat working. So every time I click away from OBS, it just hides the chat again, which is absolutely infuriating. Can I dock it? Yes, okay, phew, I can dock it into something which won't disappear. Cool. Alrighty, so you're saying check out RNXKit setup. Sure, Microsoft knows how to set up VS Code. Have a peek at their extensions. Okay, that's fine. lint run on type. Don't think that's my style. How does on type work anyway? All right, fine. Well, let's just see if my keyboard shortcuts. Let's see if it's just the when condition that's not working. So let's take a screenshot of that so I can restore it later. Remove key binding. And then change when expression to none. I said to nothing. Okay. We close that up. And it still does nothing. So I'm actually thinking it's possibly more a problem on the oxlint side. Yeah, that's really doing nothing. No, this is AI fixing. No, stop that. Okay. So I'd saying, for what it's worth, I don't do stuff in RNXKit much. I just watch Tommy and others work there and prove powers. Fair enough. Totally understandable. It's ticking over just fine. So yeah. Okay, I'll try not. This is not making very good spectator viewing, so yeah, that was all made up crap. So let's turn off these distracting linting warnings for now, for the sake of the stream. So tailwind CSS lint. Just ignore that for a moment. Okay, it's a bit more sane. I think it's bouncing between trailing comma and not, so this has got something to do with the file association for this being JSON-C or not JSON-C. It's really irritating. But there's just too many things to get to. So we've begun migrating to Tailwind. Let's remove oxlint because it's just not serving me at the moment. One remove oxlint tailwind CSS. Remove dot oxlint rc.json. Go back to my settings and disable oxlint. How much did that? Oh, right. Very small to include. We do actually need to do that final step of removing oxlint itself. Bun, remove oxlint. Okay. Give up on oxlint auto format. Tailwind. Right, the world was not kind. Okay, next up, let's see how we get this to look more like this. First step is going to be a Monaco editor. Let's go into codecs and say, look at, which repo was it? Refer to, can you chat? Oh, sweet, let's go back. Set up the same set up a Monaco editor, multi-panel Monaco editor using this, just like it has, but using idiomatic React. Let's give that a go. Oh, actually, we need to stop that just a moment. Implement it in the web folder of this repo. Go. Oh, I should probably clarify. Replacing the existing Hello World app that we have. That is of absolutely no importance. Start asking, what orchestrator app are you using? What do you mean by I mean, this is... Oh, right. Is the branding so weak that it's not clear what this is? This is Codex, but I suppose it doesn't say Codex like anywhere on it. So this is... I'm using Codex because I have a free month of a business plan. ChatGPT business plan gifted to me by DJ, another NativeScript collaborator, and all-around whiz kid. So, I've gotta say, I am not a daily driver of agentic programming. You'll see I'm not using like workspaces. That's far too intimidating for me. I don't like the idea of honestly, like, reviewing code is exhausting, and keeping agents on the rails is a hard job when I've got a super high quality bar. So I'm quite happy to do this, possibly a bit boomer-like, if I suppose. So we'll just do like one thing at a time. I have also tried, I've got another app somewhere inside here. Let's see. There was, because I went to a meetup a couple of 2 or 3 weeks back. I don't know if it was a Codex meetup or some other meetup. You can see how much these brands are sinking into my head. I don't know, they're all the same. I think agentic programming through one provider looks much the same as through another provider, but I think the people who are really deep into it have got strong opinions on it. Started saying, nice, I love how native Codex looks. There are definitely code editors which pride themselves on being more native. What was it? Bolt. I don't know exactly what Bolt can and can't do, but that's native. But let's actually look into this and prove that this is a web app as I expect. So I'm just going to hide the stream for a moment, so I don't want to show up any work projects. But yeah, I'm going to get Xcode open, and I'm going to open the accessibility inspector, and we're going to have a poke inside this and just work out whether this is a web app under the hood. Alrighty, so accessibility inspector, and we are going to poke around in here. This is Codex, and you can see AX. You can see the view tree, and we're going to try to find like which parts of this are web view and which aren't. Stop it. Yeah, this can sometimes happen. Click, 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 stop it. Right. So that looks kind of native. It says browser accessibility Cocoa. So Cocoa sounds native. AX text marker ref. So I'm sure if one looked up what AX means it might mean accessibility. So lots of those. So if we go into here, browser accessibility Cocoa. Now the reference to browser kind of sounds a bit like a web view, but who knows? If I just click into that random one there and I click here, do I see a bit more of a tree? Ah, that's what I was looking for. So I assume, there you go, HTML content. So whether, I assume these aren't just UI text views are rendering HTML, and that's why they're being called Codex HTML content. Okay, do you want me to? Yes, please install that. Okay, but there we go. It's probably native on the outer side, and then web view in here is what I'm thinking. Do. So it's saying linked dilibs attributes load path, and then he's checking whether Electron gets loaded. Oh, did you see that in the accessibility tree? But certainly, yes, if you look inside, if you do OTool on a binary, you can binary executable, you can see whether the symbols show it's accessing Electron things, I suppose. Okay. Let's see what Codex has given us. Okay. So am I still running the dev server? I don't know. It seems to be complaining about stuff, so... Ooh! No linting errors. Oh yes, because I don't have a linter. Okay, let's see how this looks. Looks like ass. Okay, let's try just rerunning it. First up, let's... What? Where's my Monaco editor? What's this serif font? What? What is it dreaming? This is just unacceptable. I think this employee would be fired. What on earth? Who came up with this? Is this like a magazine? Oh yeah, there's my Monaco editors. What is this? Right, okay, well... No, why would... That's disgusting. Why would you put the CSS styles just into the global index.css? Like, you've seen the rest of the app as an idiomatic Tailwind app. I don't know how people can use... Like, this is supposed to be the good one, right? GPT 5.4, this is like one of the good ones, right? That's just... It's like... It just frustrates me that this is supposed to be like a glorified autocomplete tool. And we have the most trivial standards to autocomplete from. It's like, it's obviously a Tailwind app. I just asked it to set it up as a Tailwind app. It can see the Tailwind config. Why is it polluting my global CSS with all this? We got a dreadful result out here. It's like it has no idea that it's supposed to look like that. Now, of course, the flip side of this is I don't know the first thing about setting up Monaco. So I'm hoping this has still saved me some time, but this just looks like arse. Okay. But what I can do is cheat a little bit and say, okay, first pass at setting up Monaco editor. So Sard's saying dilid info tells you what's linked. Easy way to see if it's Mac Catalyst or Electron or SwiftUI. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll keep that as a tool in the toolbox. Right, so I gotta say that looks like ass. Refer to this resultant HTML instead. Make it match more closely with this resultant HTML instead. Electron, now bring up the inspect element. The secret weapon is the design's all been done. Oh, cool. Even the top bit is. How much of this do we want to copy? That goes into here. Okay. So we have that, and we have dialogues. That's fine. Dialogues is... Oh yeah, talk to you later. Have a good one. I'll be starting work in a moment anyway, so you've seen most of it. Thanks for coming. Copy out to HTML. Network, let's have a look at the CSS. Where is that CSS? I guess the CSS has sort of been inlined into this. Copy. Why can't I view that style sheet? Still or not? Dot style. I don't think it has text content. So style sheet. How do you get the style sheet list? Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Let's save as. That. There's probably a lot for it to take on board, but I'm confident that all these. So what was the model that has a massive context thingy? Was that the Opus 4.6? Is it? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not saying it's vastly improving. Okay, that's arguably closer than it seemed a moment ago, but maybe that's just because I made it full size. Woohoo! So we can actually edit that. That's great fun. Do we get... Okay, we've got IntelliSense rollover. That's good. The little panels don't pop out. Oh, God. Now we've lost the Monaco editors altogether. That's... Yeah, clearly in the middle of stuff. Check in on Twitter. Doing any better? It's getting worse and worse. That is spectacular. Well, hey, that's dreadful, but closer. What is this, a Monaco editor for ants? Yeah, refresh that. Come on. I feel like Homer when he's looking at his instructions for making a grill. When he's like, why does mine look like that? Homer grill. There we go. It's basically like, why doesn't mine look like this? I feel like I don't understand why it's having such a hard time making this, because if you look at the actual code for this, it's pretty idiomatic. So look, it's gone and invented these icons. What is it doing? Fire this junior. And it's just like invented the fact that, we've got React Electron V in there, those buttons don't do anything. It's like, oh, these are all the versions of React that exist. And yeah, Vite goes into this thing, I guess. And then we've got a combo box, which doesn't actually do anything. And look at that. It tried. That's ridiculous. Like, instead of getting an actual icon set, it's like, I'm really feeling like I'm going to try drawing this thing. Hey! Alright. Oh, and it crashes when you reload it. Whoa. That I didn't expect. It's very ill. Okay. Maybe we need more brain. Okay. Right, so the Metro bundler is still running. So to get this up again, we need a bun macOS. I can't believe that reloading a web view would cause the whole app to crash. But, yeah. Picasso pass. Next up. This is like a macaroni drawing by some kid. Editor pane. So what is the damage? What does this? Okay, cool. Right, it thought of using Tailwind, but then this toolbar underline content. That's not Tailwind. That's global CSS. Okay, none of this is Tailwind. That's disgusting. But it's a nice small. The code is quite small right now. This is quite all right. Okay. And what's the damage here in index to CSS? Okay. Okay. 2 problems. Using global CSS classes, port them to idiomatic to inline Tailwind as far as is idiomatic. Obviously, some things can go in index.css, but use judgment. Next up, what is this? Okay, ants. Each editor pane is like, let's be honest here, 4 pixels. Oh yeah, my eyes do not deceive me at all, even though space has been reserved for them. I kind of wanted one of the panels to be resizable, just like the original. Two problems, and I listed out 3 things. Who cares? I think I made a commit. Yeah. This, like, who came up with this aesthetic? It's very Windows. What era of Windows is this? 8, 10? Is Windows Aqua? No, macOS had Aqua. Windows had some other thing. Yeah. It's gonna be like that. This would be a pretty good poster image for the stream. Right. How's Codex doing on that? Oh. Hold up. Why did we not have that? Yeah, obviously install that, yes. It's just cutting corners all over the place. It's like you've got a completely worked example. The whole code base is right there. It's really easy to read code. How hard can it be to make something like this? I get it. Like, this is. I need to think. I need to really get in here to make something like this. But come on, the quality level of this versus that really makes me despair for, people coming into software as like first-time devs or something. They're going to have a tough like 5-10 years ahead of them if they're not learning the fundamentals. Now, here I am trying out these tools to get familiar with them, and I'm ever skeptical. I'm not convinced by what I'm getting out of it. And but on this occasion, I feel when my literal goal is to plagiarize a completely existing design, and the fact that I've never used Monaco before, or I've used it in a limited capacity, and every time I have a rough time setting up certain things like IntelliSense. And so I feel like an LLM can help be productive on that, because like when you've got something to literally just copy, and there's loads of examples out there on GitHub of how to set up a Monaco editor, like I do defer to the beast at this point. But when there's like when you get so much jank, I do despair. And like up here, like the amount of cleanup I'm gonna have to do, and how much of this is actually stuff I want to keep versus just burn to the ground. It's not a good ratio. Oh right, that explains it. It is as tall as the scroll bar. So an interesting thing I'm doing here is I am using the system web view. So inevitably we may run into some issues with Monaco being a rather complicated library. Who knows? Maybe it's got some Safari issues. But I hope it widely works in the WebKit renderer. Oh, it just gave up on it. It's not a fan of that. Fine. I did say it needed burning to the ground. Sometimes you gotta screw things up a little bit more before you make them better. Just play with this while it's still like incomplete. One thing that would be a real real game changer is if they could get these models to be like 10 times faster. I know it is being worked on, but I just don't. I think it would be revolutionary if you get the iteration time down here, because I've been in this chat for 31 minutes and it's like all I wanted was plagiarize this. Oh, that's better. That's better. And oh yes. Oh, I kind of thought these would go up together with each other, but that's all right. Well, that has now saved me some time. Why couldn't it get that right first time? Now, of course, I've kind of thought these buttons would be more buttony. Like, I've clicked states and dash state. Whoa, I've lost that. Reload. Ah, hang on. That reloads the whole React Native macros app, and that's also not completely working. What I wanted was to reload the web view. Congratulations. Yes, thank you. I would crack open a champagne, but it's 9 a.m. So that will have to wait. Now, if I go into Visual Studio Code and I tell the dev server, yeah, it's 9 a.m. alarm. My V service here, my Metro service here, we do a press R to full reload the app. It's back up. Codex, how's it going? It reckons it's done. I think it can give itself a pat on the back. Yep. But what's a betting that if I click this will actually work? Okay. That's a lot better than my experience of clicking those other things. Pop out? Would that... Okay, fine. I thought that would be like... suggesting like it's going to make a whole new like floating window. And then what does this do? Absolutely nothing. Alright. Fair. These are just buttons to play with. Taka taka taka. I do like, it's so cool what you get for free with Monaco. Like, I was just going to point out like how beautiful the text rendering is. And then hover over it and wow, it does all this extra stuff. Now, does the IntelliSense, do these, okay, I was going to say, like, do they escape from their bounds? And no, they don't. Let's just compare to Electron. So if we make that real small, that is overlapping the scroll bar. Let's get something with some real IntelliSense on it. Come on, give me a big one. Scroll view. Can we do a document? Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so this juts out on a higher compositing layer. That would be nice to replicate because this is just too cramped. But that's a good result. I'm happy we got that far. Why are they using a beta? Right, let's slap it for that. Why are you using a beta version of... Right. Okay. Yeah, it's really good that it moved a whole bunch of that stuff into Tailwind land. I assume some of the stuff it's decided to keep is stuff I disagree with. We can look at the code quality we're getting out of this while it goes brr. Because I installed it lazily. Really now? Really? npm.js.com. Is it screwing with me? That is okay, fair enough. What? the latest, the one tagged as latest is dash beta node, and there is no 7.0.0 stable. Fine. Color me surprised. Okay, right. Looks more like a grill. It's my water exploding. Okay. So let's look at the code quality we're getting out of this. I gotta head off in a few minutes to grab a fulfilling morning coffee, but let's just do a professional engineer assessment of the code it spat out. Starting with index.css, we have a bunch of things that very much could live in CSS, in Tailwind land. Okay. Things like this, like that's inexcusable. Like, that's clearly not a Tailwind class. That's not a Tailwind class. That's more like it. We like Tailwind because when you hover over it, you can actually see what the CSS text of the class is. But let's go over a few things here. So we want to really be getting this index.css down to probably just things like media queries and CSS variables expressing our theme. I think this kind of stuff, that's totally okay. Like, you just because you're Tailwind pilled doesn't mean you can't set some like nice resets on HTML body and root. Sorry, that looks dangerously like colon root. Things like, you know, I wouldn't begrudge some styles on body, but things like these global styles, like, yeah, just a mosaic tile, margin 4, like, just put a Z index on this thing. Like, I don't like any of this. That should live in Tailwind land. And you may think like, well, what if I want to reuse one of these components? You know, we've got multiple mosaic tiles. It's fine. The point is, you would make a new mosaic tile.tsx, and you would inline things like margin 4 pixels. So do it like that. Make the redundant thing be the React TSX component, not so that you don't have to have a mosaic tile in the global scope of index.css. All right. Well, so I'll stop bashing on the split between Tailwind and global CSS styles. Next up, we've got this editor layout. Let's have a quick peek inside here, and this is looking quite defensible. Fair enough, it probably copied straight from the original project, and you know, that's just some starting text for each of these. Yeah, perfectly good file. More recently, I've been liking doing these in reverse order. So let's see, I've got a comment here. Also, the arbitrary classes can be used directly from Tailwind preserved values. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you can do all sorts of things like arbitrary variants in Tailwind, and you can do fun things like you can write stuff inside those square brackets. Next up, let's look at what we've got here. So this, I'm getting a lot of value here because the time it would take me to have researched all of this stuff and come up with a good theme, although I've got a lot of slop out of this, it has undeniably saved me some good time. Like, you know, I didn't know all this stuff off the top of my head, and you'd have to go digging through readmes to get anywhere close. Yeah, so that's all good. Okay, And would you look at that? You know, we've ended up with you know, 140 lines for editor pane. Editor layout is mostly just 60 lines. So in the end, it did good. There's a lot of slop I disagree with, but it's a manageable amount of stuff. I can even just get in there myself and like bulldoze some of this and say, right, these important styles, they've got to go. That's very cool. Then what's the main TSX? That is fine. Okay, cool. Commit up. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming along. I need to go grab my coffee before meetings start, and I need to do some work is the main thing. But yes, thank you for coming along. I'm glad we were able to get past the Oxlent stuff, which is very boring to look at, and proceed on to something a lot more exciting to look at. Right now, I wouldn't, you know, give people a choice between this and that, and we'd say that, you know, Electron on the right to React Native on the left, sorry, React Native embedding the web view on the left, it would feel like a strict downgrade, but hopefully we can get to not feeling like a strict downgrade and more being a strict upgrade. As for whether we could do this in native views, in theory, yes, until you get to the code editor. Like, the thing is that there are no native code editors that are editable and handle syntax highlighting and IntelliSense and that sort of thing. It's really just Monaco or bust. So if we're going to have a web view to handle the Monaco editor, we might as well have the web view extend to the entire viewport of the app, at which point, you know, game over. We can't do it all with native views. So yeah, this is still going to involve a lot of web technologies. Nothing we can do about that until the world comes up with a native Monaco editor. Well. But catch you next time. Thank you very much for coming along.